Good afternoon. First and foremost, I'd like to start out by saying the outpouring of support from the Fox Lake community and the areas surrounding us has been unbelievably tremendous. Not only have we received a number of tips from Fox Lake residents, area residents, that are all being very vigorously followed up on by the Major Crime Task Force, but we're receiving an outpouring of support from corporations and businesses, both in the immediate area as well as the region. What I'd like to start out by saying, I'm joined here by Vice President of Motorola Solutions. Motorola Solutions, upon learning of the tragic death of Lieutenant Gliniewicz in this senseless murder, immediately came to the Lake County Sheriff's Office and pledged $50,000 to any tip that leads to the apprehension and conviction of the offenders in this case. In addition to that, we've received a number of pledges and offers from corporations and businesses offering the same thing. So many that we're keeping track of all of these, and in fact, any corporations or businesses that are wanting to contact us regarding this can contact Lake County Under Sheriff Raymond Rose, and he'll be coordinating all of the money regarding the reward from the tip leading to the apprehension and conviction. Due to that, and due to the number of tips that we've had incoming, the FBI, who's been assisting us since the beginning, has graciously offered us a fully staffed, fully functional tip line. It's going to be staffed by FBI agents as well as supervisors from the Lake County Major Crime Task Force. We've had so many reports coming in, very good tips and leads, that this is going to be extremely helpful and help us process these leads and send investigators out in a timely manner. The phone number for tips regarding to the murder of Lieutenant Gliniewicz is 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's going to be operational 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's going to be staffed during that entire time. In addition to that, they've created a website specifically for this investigation. It's www.fbi.gov/Fox Lake. At that website, individuals, if they have leads or tips or suggestions for us that will aid in this investigation, they can submit them. And not only that, they can submit images and videos if they choose to do so. This is all going to be extremely helpful to us. We are grateful for Motorola's solution support and the pledge that they've offered. We're grateful to this community, and we're working very hard. I'm going to turn the mic over to Ali Kapata, Vice President of Motorola Solutions, just to say a few words, and then Chief Falenko.
Thank you. The fatal shootings of Lieutenant Gliniewicz was a horrible act against a public servant who put his life on the line every day for 30 years to protect the people of Fox Lake. While the loss of every first responder is a tragedy, this occurred in an area that many of our Motorola Solutions headquarter area employees and their families call home. My local team worked with Lieutenant Gliniewicz and respected his tireless leadership and commitment to enhancing public safety. Today, in support of the Fox Lake Police Department's efforts to solve this horrible crime, Motorola Solutions is pledging $50,000 for a $50,000 reward for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of those responsible. On behalf of Motorola Solutions, the thoughts and prayers of our employees are with Lieutenant Gliniewicz's family as well as his colleagues in the Fox Lake Police Department. We're with them during this difficult time as they work to bring the people responsible for this tragedy to justice. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of questions, but let me review a couple of things. There were some questions asked about a weapon recovered yesterday. I can confirm today that it was the officer's weapon that was recovered at the scene. We received confirmation yesterday when we're following up on some forensics from that weapon as we speak. The other thing I want to make clear to you is that we are still reviewing a substantial amount of video. We've now coordinated with the FBI, who have the ability to chronologically put together these video segments that we've collected from a number of areas within the community. They're doing that again today as we speak. Once that's ready, we'll be set to review those. We've been contacted by a number of sources overnight who have also provided some video that we didn't even realize was out in the area One of those specifically being the Lake County Department of Transportation. Some of you who are familiar with the area know that they have intersection cameras. One of the things that we have historically known about those cameras is that that's usually recycled within a matter of several hours. They were astute enough to hear about this officer's slaying, and they've held video from some of the intersections that are key to that exact location. Now I'll be open for some questions.
Commander, would you make clear about the weapon? Tell us how many times it had been fired, and can you also tell us where in proximity to the lieutenant's body was the weapon found?
All I can tell you is it was found near the lieutenant's remains. I can't reveal how many times it was fired.
Was it the murder weapon?
Can't reveal that either.
Do you still believe the suspects are armed, or do you have reason to believe that that was the weapon that was used? They fled the scene and left the scene.
What I'll tell you is that I believe that the subjects are dangerous, and I'll reiterate this. They murdered a police officer, so they're capable of doing anything.
You were optimistic about that video yesterday from the residents who were reviewing it with Homeland Security. What have you found out?
Correct. That still has not returned. I know that I've been reading some comments within the media about that particular video. There is some difficulty there because it's not a chip, it's not a DVD, it's an actual hard drive. So I'm still waiting for some results from that. Once we get those, we'll coordinate with the FBI and turn that video over to them as well.
But there's only 2 white men and 1 black man, is that correct?
That is correct.
How many other videos have you received so far from all these others?
I don't have an exact number, but I believe I'll just say there's several.
But as you talk about assembling the chronology of the videotape, do you have images of people you believe are the suspects?
We have images of people that we believe are subjects that we'd be interested in talking to.
Is that from the video that you spoke about yesterday?
No, this is some other video that we've acquired within the last 24 hours.
Is that from a business or the DOT video?
The DOT video we haven't acquired yet. That's probably just going to show us vehicles in the area. We're hoping it might show us some foot traffic. The video you're referring to and asking about has got images of individuals on it.
Have any information about a potential vehicle?
No, not at this time.
Did the lieutenant's weapon fired around to kill them?
I'm not able to answer that question.
Is that video from a residence or a business?
There are a mix of videos from residences and businesses.
Commander, the lieutenant indicated in his radio transmission that he was pursuing the suspects on foot. But unless you can correct me, it doesn't rule out the possibility that the suspects had an automobile there that they might have gotten into and left the scene. Can you clarify, is there a possibility they drove away and they are miles from you now?
It's a possibility. You remember, if you've looked at the area, that roadway is located remotely. However, there's 2 main roadways surrounding that. So there could have been a vehicle, there's this possibility, parked in either one of those roadways or in the industrial section.
Commander, have you gotten any tips from either businesses about employees who have not been to work specifically, schools, or anything else that gives you some indication of who you might be looking at?
We've gotten, some of the things that we do is when we canvass, we do pull records. Specifically the high school, we've gone there. We've asked for absentee records. If we go to a business and we're canvassing, we're asking if employees haven't shown up. That's part of the canvassing process.
Naked and caliber of the weapon recovered?
The caliber of the weapon recovered is a .40 caliber. I'm not certain about the make of the weapon.
Can you describe for us today what is the search effort, the canvassing looking like? Is this a lot of online stuff or phone calls? What are detectives doing today to find these people?
The answer to your question about whether it's phone calls, online, walk-ins, detectives out knocking on doors, yes. All of those.
Commander,
No, we have not seen it. That's why we've got Homeland Security pulling that. But I want to emphasize also, now we've acquired several more videos that we believe are even more relevant than that one.
Are you able to see those? What do they show?
Have I seen those? I have not I have not reviewed those yet. I understand the FBI, again, tremendous assistance is putting together those videos for us. They're vetting some things. We'll have probably an opportunity to review those within the next several hours.
Commander, what is it about those videos that makes you believe that they're going to be more useful?
Timelines and consistency.
They'll have a timestamp?
Well, there's timelines and consistency. We can tell chronologically. Again, the FBI has the technology to put these videos in sequential order.
Can you tell us what from these timelines, when did they see the suspects you believe may be the killer? How soon after the murder happened did they first show up on the suspect?
Well, we've got videos that we examine before and after. So before the actual, what we believe, time of the murder or the approximate time, and thereafter.
Do they show individuals going into the area where the murder took place?
I'm not going to reveal that at this point.
So of all these videos, what is the one piece of video that you're most optimistic about?
I think we're optimistic about all of these videos right now because they all come together chronologically. They're not separate, they're not independent. There are different cameras that are putting a storyline together.
Do you see one particular vehicle or people throughout all of those videos?
Let's say that there's a commonality there.
For clarification, does the video show 2 white men and 1 black man?
There's a commonality there, and there's an interest in those videos.
The other thing you're waiting for was the crime lab results. Have you gotten anything back from the crime lab?
We've gotten some preliminary results from the crime lab. That's why I'm confirming that it was the officer's weapon that was recovered at the scene. I'm not at liberty to reveal any of the forensic information at all.
When will we know that? When will you be able to release that?
When we make an arrest.
Commander, can you make clear for the citizens maybe here, do you believe the killers are still local or not, and can you shed some light on why?
Well, again, I'm going to explain this, that we historically have seen that, especially in locations that are uncommon locations and are probably only known to people that are local. And when I mean local, it doesn't necessarily mean the Fox Lake area. It could mean some of the adjoining communities. Those are not that area is not common. It's not a public area. So generally what we find is that, and again, I'll use this term, that individuals are more comfortable hiding in place. I know that the general public senses this belief at times that people automatically go on the run or try to escape. Yes, that's still a possibility. We don't know. But historically what we've found is they still localize. And that's what we're hoping for, that they're still within this area, within our reach.
Typically, this week they're going to have a lot of people coming in town for the holiday weekend.
Yes.
That may be unfamiliar to residents. What would you say to residents? Because you've been asking them to report anyone they don't recognize, any suspicious activity. What would you say to residents? And then what would you say about people thinking about coming up here for holidays?
I'm going to affirm what Detective Cavelli's been stating for the last couple days, that the local police department, the Lake County Sheriff's Office, the state police have offered assistance here, saturation patrols. We feel confident that the safety of the community is not in jeopardy. As far as calling in suspicious persons, we're going to rely on the public. You're the public. Instinctively, you would know what's suspicious and what's not. Simply not recognizing somebody from the area doesn't necessarily make them suspicious. Suspicious could be behavior. Suspicious could be some kind of an instinct on the person's part reporting it.
So in that case, a lot of these homes are empty because they're summer homes. These people might be coming back into their house and they haven't been in their house for days or weeks. Do you expect that maybe you could find somebody this weekend because somebody just happened to go into their house and notices something strange?
I hope you realize that we do make contingency plans and we plan ahead. And yes, we know this is a holiday weekend, and yes, we know that this is a partial resort community. So we have put in place plans in those situations where people suspect that somebody may have been in their home squatting, and we've taken it to the extent of addressing even the issue of some of the boats that are docked, that they may have been used as some kind of a hiding spot or somebody just accessing that.
Commander, can you give us a little bit more description on the type of forensic examinations that will happen to the weapons?
Well, typically, yeah, of course, fingerprint and DNA evidence. And DNA evidence could be everything from blood transfer to any kind of biological transfer.
Is there any other evidence you can tell us about that was recovered at the scene?
No, I can't. You know, again, I've got to be careful here because this is still an ongoing criminal investigation, and this information is very sensitive. And I'll explain to you as soon as we make an arrest here, and I'm optimistic. We're not going to stop until we make an arrest. We'll give you the forensics then.
Any evidence that the lieutenant fired the gun? Anything about conclusions?
You're asking me about forensic evidence about the lieutenant firing the gun. I'm not at liberty to say.
Chief, can you tell us anything, a stronger sense that they got away on foot?
Okay, the question is, do I have a stronger sense whether they got away on foot or on car? Based on where the area is, the initial escape from that area is going to be on foot. Whether there was a car located in the area, I can't answer that question. We haven't confirmed any of that yet.
Commander, last night you talked about tips in Michigan coming from Michigan.
Initially, you had said there were 2 Caucasian men and 1 African American man. Those are really vague and not typically very helpful descriptions of anybody. With what you've seen, can you give a better description of who you're looking for? Maybe what they were wearing, maybe height, weight, anything else?
Okay, I haven't had a chance to review the videos. Like I said, they're being put together. We're not prepared to give out any specific descriptions yet. And again, the description initially comes from the lieutenant when he pulls up, and that's the only description he provides to his dispatchers, and that's what we're working off of.
What about dash cam?
Again, that's evidentiary, and I'm not going to reveal that.
How hopeful are you, Commander, that when you do get the DNA evidence back and all the other forensic evidence, how hopeful are you that it will actually point you to at least one of the people involved in this crime? And how hopeful are you that there might be something in the database that you can match up?
You know, I'm looking around here, and I see a lot of experienced reporters that have been at these types of news conferences, and you all understand that in order to get a DNA match, there has to be a replicant match within the system. I don't know. I can't answer that. Until we get a DNA sample and we enter it into the CODIS system, if there's a match, there's a match. If not, we'll continue. One thing I can tell you is that individuals that we have been interviewing, we have been doing what's called buccal swaps, gathering DNA from them.
Who is that? Who are you interviewing that you're taking DNA from?
Anybody and everybody we've interviewed.
Commander, do you have suspects that you've interviewed?
It's not a suspect, it's just somebody we've interviewed. It's part of our process.
So have you found DNA or anything, any forensics at the scene that are not Lieutenant Gliniewicz's?
Again, you're asking me about questions that I can't reveal right now.
Can you clarify one thing for us regarding what you said about the individuals, rightfully so, you say that you consider very dangerous. But you also said we feel confident the safety of the community is not in jeopardy. To the layman, that would sound like then they're not.
I understand that. We just feel that with the amount of a police presence here, and our investigators out in the field, again supported by saturation patrols from the Sheriff's Office and the State Police, I think the community should feel safe in that way.
Yesterday you talked about the tip that came in from the FBI from a source in Michigan. Can you give us any better information about that, whether there was a tip that they were seen in Michigan or somebody in Michigan had information about who?
Yeah, unfortunately, because of the vagueness of the description of the offenders, any 3 individuals matching that description, even out of state, because obviously because of these sources, this has gone national, we're getting calls. For example, the Michigan call was as simple as they received a suspicious individual call at a local gas station. By the time they arrived there, the 3 individuals that were in a vehicle had left the area. They determined that that vehicle had been stolen from the Chicagoland area. So they put 2 and 2 together, and they surmised that that might be relevant information for us.
Has that vehicle been identified?
We're still working that lead. Fortunately, we've got the assistance of our federal partners who can immediately send agents out there and follow up on that.
When will you have some answers from Homeland Security?
Pardon me?
When will you have some answers from Homeland Security about this
As soon as I have the answers, you'll have the answers.
And did they get, like last night, there was video made before nightfall yesterday.
Again, I'm not a video or technology expert. We've got a call into their lab right now to see how much progress they've made. But I just want to emphasize that is not the, I think somebody referred to it as the golden nugget of this case. Now we've got several videos. Now whether that video fits into the chronological order of the ones that we have currently, I don't know. Until we see it or until they review it and tell us. And we'll hand that over to the FBI and let them either fit that in or discount it.
You talked so much about these three individuals, but what does your gut tell you at this point as to whether they're still traveling together or they've separated? Does that make a difference in what people are looking for?
Don't know. Again, don't know. They could have separated. I don't know. I can't answer that.
Did you say anything about the coroner's report?
No, again, that's part of the forensics.
There were early reports, we don't know the source, that he was shot twice. Can you say anything about
Can't verify that either. Part of the criminal investigation aspect of the case, and it's got to remain with us at this point. No.
Chief, yesterday you were talking about fatigue among the officers that are here. Have you reached out further to other communities to see if they could help you?
I can tell you this. I'm the oldest member of this task force. I'm almost 60. What's energizing me, as well as these guys that are half my age, who could be my kids, is the fact that we have a murdered colleague. 3 hours of sleep is enough for me. So no, fatigue's not playing a factor. Are we tired near the end of the night? Yes. Am I watching them, keeping an eye on them? Yes. Do we send people home to get a little bit of rest? Absolutely. But we have enough resources here where we can replace immediately. So we don't need any more assistance right now. We have had offers from just about every law enforcement agency in the state, including task forces from McHenry County, DuPage County, South Suburban Major Crime Task Force. I could bring in hundreds of investigators, but then you start running into control issues. So we have to keep this investigation focused and efficient. So to answer your question, no, we have a mission here, we're focused, and we're going to keep going until we solve this case.
Can you give us an idea of what a video timeline looks like? Is it like a big screen full of little screens and you can follow things along, or is the screen sequenced geographically?
Well, they're going to sequence them based on what time. My hope is they're going to sequence those videos by time they've been. When you collect the video, you're obviously collecting it from an individual. So, collecting a video, you're collecting it from an individual or a business. So what you're going to do is, if it's not time-stamped, you're going to have a general idea when these individuals were present. So that's how you're going to set up your chronological sequence of events.
Commander, just to be clear,
Yes.
the several videos that you collected that you're going to put in sequence, who has those right now?
The FBI.
And Homeland Security or
Homeland Security's got one portion of it.
has the video from yesterday?
That's the video that we were referring to yesterday. As soon as they're through with that, they're going to immediately turn it over to the FBI so they could put it into their format.
Now, why did yesterday's video go to Homeland Security and videos from
Homeland Security was on the scene. They had technology, and we wanted to expedite it. So at that time, I made the decision to get it to their lab. Unfortunately, it sounds like they're having a little bit of difficulty, but we're confident in their abilities. We've used them on a number of our homicide investigations, and they've been extremely successful.
Commander, can you clarify exactly, since we all heard the radio transmissions, if the officer's weapon was found near his body, why were the all-call messages saying that the officer's weapon was killed?
I don't believe, I reviewed a portion of the tape, and I didn't hear that.
They said the weapon and his pepper spray were taken.
If they said that, the weapon was not taken, they may not have seen it immediately.
Okay.
Now you've got to listen. You've got to understand. You're finding a colleague dead, so your emotions, your adrenaline is running high. They may not have seen everything there. This is a very overgrown area. In fact, our evidence technicians have been out there several times with machetes, with high-powered magnets. We're back to the scene again today, re-examining. I think we've been out there half a dozen times to see if we could find anything else. We're actually bringing in a specific ATF canine today too to re-examine the scene. So we're still looking, going back, looking again, canvassing, recanvassing, following up on leads, not closing them out unless they're absolutely confirmed that it's a dead end. So we're revisiting a number of things. We're well into over 100 and some odd leads right now that we've examined.
I know you're being careful about releasing details about the coroner's report, but initially it hasn't been ruled a homicide?
The coroner is the only legal authority in this county to rule it a homicide, and he has a process of doing that. I believe what they do is they examine all the pathology and they have a review panel in place. Well, you'll have to confirm that with the coroner.
Do you have any details of this video that show the time when it first appeared, whatever video it is, the last time that they were seen?
Again, that's something I don't want to reveal at this point.
Commander, I want to make sure.
One more question.
I want to make sure I clarify. Forgive me for whipping a dead horse.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you say definitively was the officer's weapon the murder?
I'm not going to make a comment on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.